So, my name is Evelyn, and I live in Toms River, New Jersey.
I'm Peter, and we live in the same place.
So, we met Josh more than 10 years ago. We were nearing retirement, and we were looking for a good financial advisor. We had saved money most of our life, but we had never really met a financial advisor who did much more than try to sell us products. So we were looking for something more than that. And as we just said, I heard an advertisement on WOBM, I think it was, if I remember. It's been a long time. But we heard Josh on the radio, and he sounded interesting, so I called and made an appointment. And when we first met Josh, he was in a much smaller office, and he said to us, I want to get together with you 3 times. I'm not going to charge you anything. I just want to meet you 3 times, and at the end of the 3rd meeting, you can tell me if you want to stay with me. So the first meeting we had with Josh was a getting to know you meeting. So he got to know who we were as people, where we were in our lives. At the time, we were around 60. And we were trying to figure out how we were going to retire, and we're concerned. We weren't sure we were going to be able to do it comfortably. And so that was the first meeting. And then he gave us homework. And our homework was that we had to go home and figure out exactly what came in and went out financially. And so our second meeting, we gave him all the information, and he had a computer program that he loaded all the information into, and he would sit at his desk, we would be facing him, and he would have everything on the wall behind him so that we could see everything that he was doing, and then he could show us where we're at and where we're going. This program had the ability to project if you entered, what you thought interest would be or whatever. And so he showed us at our current, what we were doing, this is where we were going. And so then he called some of the companies that we had investments in, and he asked them questions while we listened to the conversation so that we understood what the fees were and what it was costing us and what we were really making. So it was very educational for us. And then the 3rd meeting, when we met, he had recommendations. So Pete and I like to laugh because one of the first recommendations he looked right at me, not my husband, but right at me, and said, you have a plastic problem, and we have to resolve that problem. And I did. It took me a year and a half, but I did. And I haven't had that problem since. But he also went through the different products we had, and he told us, this one is great, you need to stay with it. And these maybe are not so great, and I can give you some suggestions on what to change. And that's how we went forward. And we said, yes, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for guidance. We're looking for someone who can show us where we are, where we're going, and what we need to get to a comfortable retirement. And it's turned out to be the best thing that could ever have happened to us. It is so much more than we ever anticipated. We are very comfortable in our retirement. We have more than enough money to continue, and we only wish that we had met Josh 10 years before. We could have done even better, but we're very thankful that we've met Josh. And if I'd say this to my own children and some of my other young relatives that are in their 20s and 30s and they're just starting out, that even though you may not be making a lot of money right now because you've got families and you've got expenses that you're not going to have later on, it's a good idea to get together with someone like Josh. And I particularly recommend him because of our own experience. But it helps you to see what you're doing, what you can do, so that down the road you're going to have a good retirement. You're going to be comfortable, and you're going to have what you need to be happy going forward. I'm sure with education of your children as well as with retirement. So we would highly recommend anyone to go in, as we do with our own families. And we've recommended a number of family members who have come in to see Josh. Because it is a great thing. Josh is a great thing.